In this lesson, we're going to be taking a look at Autodesk Inventor's Extrude tool. The file that I currently have open is called Extrude1, and it's also found in the Chapter 3 exercise folder. Let's take a look at what I have drawn so far. I started off with a basic extrusion, and then I created a sketch on this front vertical face, and I placed in a circle, and I constrained it so it's right in the middle of that geometry. So what we want to take a look at in this lesson again is going to be the Extrude tool. So from the Part Features panel, I'm going to go ahead and click on Extrude, or the shortcut is the letter E. So Inventor is asking me for a profile. When the arrow is red, that's Inventor's way of telling us or asking us to select some geometry. So in this case, I'm going to select that circle. For the output, I have two different methods here that I can do. I can output a solid or a surface. The default in this case is a solid since it is a closed profile, so I'm going to keep that. The middle operations here allow us to join, cut, and intersect, and we'll come back and take a look at these later on in this lesson. First of all, let's take a look at the different extents options. The default is distance, and with the distance I could go back and I can type in a value, and you'll notice that the preview changes. I can take that and I can reverse its direction to go plus or to the negative side, or I can go evenly in both directions. So in this case, it would go 12.5 millimeters in each direction. I could also go back and grab an edge, and I can physically pull it. And you notice as I do that, the dialog box is changing immediately so I can see the exact value that I'm going to be placing in there. But in this case, I don't want to place it in a certain distance. I want to go back and have this terminate on a specific face on this part. So let's take a look at our other options that are available. The first one is to next. So with the to next, just going to go ahead and click OK. Inventor will take that extrusion and it will terminate on the very first face that it finds. So let's undo that. And let's look at some of the other options that we have. So again, selecting the profile is the circle. Let's take a look at the to option. So what I'm going to do with the to option is I want to select a specific face. So let's pick this inside face right there. Go ahead and click OK. So the circle where it was sketched is terminating on the face that I selected. So let's undo that. And I'm going to change the 40 millimeters to 65. If I spin this around, we can see that the circle now falls halfway above the extrusion. So I'm just going to hit E on the keyboard to extrude. I'm going to go back to the to, select the exact same face, after selecting the profile, of course. So once I select that face, the option I want to talk about here is the check to terminate feature on the extended face. It's on by default. And what that's actually doing, Inventor, is taking this plane and it's looking at it, though it is infinitely long and wide. So it knows exactly how to terminate. If by chance, if I uncheck that, go ahead and click OK, the extrusion will fail because Inventor will not know how to terminate that circle where there is no face there. So I'm going to go ahead and click Edit again, recheck my option, and in this case you can see the arrow is going in the wrong direction. I'm going to click on the More tab, and I'm going to reverse the direction to have it go back in and terminate on that face. So again, we'll undo that. Click on the Extrude tool again. And let's look at from to. So in this case, I want to have the extrusion start at this angle face. So again, selecting my circle as my profile. And I want it to start at that front face. And let's have it terminate at that back face that has the arc on it. What's interesting with this case is you'll see that the arc that was selected there is actually seen as a circle. So what I can do is I can right-click, edit that feature, and under the More option, we can click on the minimum solution, and it will terminate at the very front face. And I have another example that will show that in another light as well. So let's undo that. And again, we'll do an extrude. We'll take that circle, and we'll look at the All option. And in this case, it's going to fail because it doesn't know exactly where to terminate itself. So I'm going to go back and edit that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the operation to a cut. So before we were adding material, joining it. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to a cut operation. So it's going through all of the components or all of the faces that it finds. Now, as I go back here, I'm going to create a sketch on this front face. And I'm just going to draw in a large rectangle. And I'm going to extrude those faces out. And you'll notice what happened is the cut did not go through that front face, because when I did the All operation that was with extrusion 2, it does not know that extrusion 3 exists. So that's why I had to go back and replace that. I can go back and just reorder it just by dragging extrusion 2 below extrusion 3, and it now goes all the way through the parts. So that's also referred to as feature reordering. So I'm going to do one more cut here. I'm just going to create a sketch. And I'm going to place in a rectangle. And I'm going to return. And I'm going to extrude this rectangle. So we already looked at the join, and then we did the cut. And let's go ahead and do that one more time. I'm going to do a cut all, so we can see what it looks like. In this case, we can see that rectangular cut is at an angle because it's on the angled face. But let's look at that last operation here. I'm going to edit extrusion 4. And the last operation we have is called intersect. What intersect is going to do, it's going to keep what's common to the existing solid and the feature that we are creating. And that's what we're left with the intersect option. So what I want to do now is I want to open up the file in my Chapter 3 exercise folder called Extrude 2. And in this file, you'll notice that I have a cylinder that was extruded, and I have a circle that was drawn offset from that geometry. And what I want to do is I want to extrude that circle to this front face. You'll notice that I'm going to select on that front face. But Inventor is going to see this, again, as a complete circular face here, not just that front. So in this case, what I need to do is click on the More tab and click on the Minimum Solution option to get the correct result. Again, if I didn't want to do that, if I wanted it to go all the way through, simply I'd edit that feature and uncheck Minimum Solution, and it will go back through and terminate on that back face.